So I think you have understood some basic, right? What is port number is, and
Um,
what
yes,
what is
sir. Now,
IP.
yeah, so now I can understand, sir, the terminology and everything.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, let me open. So we will continue to that. Let me start the instance. So most probably we will complete the Linux part today, and if anything left, we left with. So in future, once we will cover other topics, right? So because everything we gonna do on the Linux environment, so you will understand it better that time. So we will actually, we can say, like, whatever the commands we understood, right? So you will make practice on that going forward with the session. And uh, let's see. So we have few topics that is like Docker, Git and GitHub, and Maven, right? So uh, Kubernetes, and these are topics actually that can be performed on the Linux and Windows environment, but we will prefer the Linux environment because most of the time you will see the Linux environment to manage those. Okay. And in the real time also, if you are part of any project there, if they are using technologies like DevOps or clouds, so most of the time you will see the Linux environments. So Linux is most important part, most important aspect of this DevOps and cloud technologies. Yeah. Okay. So we are now inside a VM. Okay. So we'll just see. So I've shown you how to check the IP address for the instance, and this is the IP address. If I try to ping this IP address, ping is the command. We can check the connectivity, whether this IP address is reachable or not. So if I just do ping, okay, so if I'm getting the responses, it means it is reachable. And if I make change here, let's say instead of using 2, I'll just ping 1, and then I'll try to get it. So you'll see that I'm not getting the responses. The packets are not being transferred, right? So it is stuck. It got stuck here. So it is not responding. So I have to forcefully exit from here, and you will see the response here: 100% packet loss. So it means there is no packets are transferred right now. Okay. And that is the thing. I mean, how do you check the connectivity? So right now I've just checked the connectivity internally, but if you want to check the connectivity from the Google, so we have this DNS for the google.com. So we can just paste that google.com, and you can see here I'm getting the response from this IP. So this is the IP of the server, Google server IP, from where I'm getting the response back. Okay. So this is the command. Through that we can check the connectivity in the Linux environment. So these are the two basic commands: ping and IP if config, to check the IPs, and to check the. Okay, so there is a one important file in Linux we usually use to set the host names. Okay, so right now, if I tell you what is my host name, so host name and host name. So my host name is CentOS VM. Okay, so if I try to ping this CentOS VM, I should get this, because right now this CentOS VM is my host name, and this host name entry we can make it inside a file. The file name is cat/etc/host file. So there is a one file which has the entry of this CentOS VM. So right now, if you see this, this is the one. So CentOS VM. Okay, so this is your DNS. So if you try, even you can try to uh, ping this. So I'm using cat command to see the content of this host file, which is inside /etc. And here I have two entries. One entry is this one, which is an external IP added by Google. You can see comment, and this is also added by Google. Okay, but this is internal IP, and this internal IP are mapped to this two DNS. One is this host name. Second is this DNS. So if even I can just take this DNS also, and if I try to ping this DNS also, so you should get this same, right? So I'm getting the responses. It means it is also reachable. Okay, this VM DNS is also reachable, this DNS. So this DNS is also reachable, and this hostname is also reachable. It means everything is connected to the internet locally and outside of the outside of this server as well. Okay, and this is your IP. So either you can check the IP, you can check the DNS, or you can check this hostname as well. So these three things can be done here. Okay, uh, right. So this is the way to check the connectivities. uh, See, every application, so let me tell you how to install the applications now. So this is my Linux environment, and you can actually install the softwares. So we can just go to root right now. So I'm in the root. So with the root privileges, you can install any softwares. So how to install or uninstall the software? So right now, if you don't know what is Nginx, I'm gonna install Nginx here. Okay, Nginx is a web server which will be like a web application. So I think you have idea like what is web application. So web application is kind of application which you can see the output of that same application on the browser. That is called web application, correct?
Yes.
So we gonna install the Nginx here. So right now there is no Nginx. If I type Nginx here, so you won't see anything, right? And to install anything, we use yum command in CentOS and RHEL. These two environment, RHEL and CentOS uses yum, and Debian and CentOS uses apt package manager. So these are called package managers. Package managers means whatever you install in the environment, these are called packages, and you can install any packages with the help of these commands. Okay, and there is a one repositories which is already there, and which is already mentioned by the Google for you. So let me show you the path /etc/yum/yum. So yum dot repos, yeah, yum dot not this one. Let me go to this directory first /etc/yum, and here we have these few configurations. So yum, let me see the path, let me see the content for this, paste it. So here these are the directories. Just a minute. We are seeing the content of this file. Uh, Let me show you one more thing here. Just let me come out from here. And if I just do ls here, do I see here something which is related to the yum conf? So there is a file yum repos.d. So I can just go inside yum dot repos.d. Inside this, I should get one file. So you can see here all the packages will be managed in this repository that is called yum.repos.d. So in this, there is a one repo, epl.repo, and another is Google Cloud Repo. Okay, and this is for testing. So you just focus here in this two, EPL and Google Cloud Repo. So if you see the content for this Google Cloud Repo, let's see. Yeah, so here these are the data here. Okay, and what is this data is basically, let me tell you, whenever you install anything, right, your system basically first check whether you have the internet connectivity or not. If you don't have internet connectivity, you should have the package already installed in your laptop, in your server. If it is not in the server, your system will check this URL. This is the URL. System will check this URL, and this URL basically is the URL where you actually have all those packages can be downloaded from the internet. Okay, so these two base URL are there. One is this base URL and second is another base URL. So the base URL means from this URL, your server or your lab, I mean your system or your whatever server you are using, it will firstly check on this link whether this package is available or not. If it is not available, it will show you there is no package manager. If it is available, it will directly install it. Okay, so that's why we use this repos here. Okay, there is nothing much use for this, but you can just see, like I was telling you, for just information, you might not get this thing in real time. They will just provide you everything to be configured already. So if they ask you to configure it, you can configure in this way. But right now it is already configured for us, so we don't need to configure anything right now. So we can just directly just use command yum, and then you can use install, and just use nginx. Okay, the package name nginx. So I'm going to use this command here. It will see this thing. First it will check the repositories here. So you can just see, it checks the base url repository, EPL repositories, extra package manage, extra packages one. So these are all repositories where it is checking first whether this package is available or not. And we can see here it is already available. So this package manager will require these all softwares. So what it will do first, this is the prerequisite for this nginx. Okay, and these are the dependent packages. We called it six packages are dependent to this nginx. So what it will do first, it will install these dependencies and then it will install the nginx. Okay, so the size you can also see 3.3 MB is the size for this, and install size is 8.6 MB in your system. And it is asking you for the prompt whether you want to proceed or not. So we gonna proceed, and once I'll write the boy here, so it will proceed and it will install these packages. First this one, second this one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, like that. So these are the dependencies, and you can see dependencies has been installed and everything is installed here, right? And this is the package name of this which we have installed, and complete you will see there, right? Complete. Now let's say whether this we have downloaded it, right? So usually what happens, each package manager runs on particular service. So it's like a service, it uses a service. So whether the status of the service is running or not, so to check the services we have a command system ctl is the command line to check whether this package services are running or not. Until unless if it is not running, right, until unless if it is not running, you can't actually access this server on the browser. Okay, so let me see the status systemctl status and the package name, so nginx. And you can see there this is showing me inactive right now. So you can see here this active status is inactive and it's showing me dead. So it is dead, it is not actually running right now. Okay, so if it is not running, then how we can just a minute. Okay, okay, fine. So it is not running right now. So how to start the services? So same command, we check the status. Now we can start it. Okay, so once I'll run this start command, now again check the status here. So if you see this status right now, it's showing me running and active. Okay, and if you don't know on what port, every application, every individual application runs on particular port numbers. And what is the port number? So port number is nothing but it's like a process which will be running in your system. Okay, and we can see here, right, this actually nginx, it will run on port number 80 by default, because it's a web server and web server runs on port number 80. 80 port number is for http. I think if you have went through that videos, they have explained you better what is port number is and how why we use the port numbers. So You can, if you have not gone through that right now, so you can just please go through that, and you will understand like what is port number is and why we use port numbers. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
here, yeah, sure. So here I can see the events as well. So these are the events, and it will show you starting the Nginx HTTP and reverse proxy server and Nginx configuration file. This is the configuration file. So if I see this configuration file here, let me get this configuration file, and if I see this configuration file here, so it will show me some details here. So I can also identify from here as well on what actually on what port number it runs on. And here if I just see this detail about this Nginx, you can see this server and server port number, and that is 80 port number, right? And this is the port number listening, where it is listening. And if you see this dot dot here, so it's like a IP address where it will listen on IP address, any particular DNS or IP addresses. And here is the root. So root, basically it's a file system where it store all the files related to this web server. So this is the path users share Nginx HTML. And inside this HTML file, you will see one default configuration file, that is an index.html file. Okay. I'll just show you quickly this path. So let me copy this path here, and if I just go to this path cd and paste this, so if I go to this path and see what are there on this path, so you will see there is a one important file is index.html. And this file basically is nothing but it's like a HTML file. It's like a HTML file. I'll just get it. So it will show you few things here. So like this is the header. I think, do you have idea about anything in HTML?
So HTML, no, sir.
No, that's fine. But this is not
I
actually.
know the structure, sir. Header means the title, right? The
Yeah,
title of.
correct, correct. So that, I mean, here actually don't we don't require the HTML and CSS, but just few things, how we see the headers and how we see the paragraph and all these things. So here it is the header. Hmm?
Those I know. Those I know, sir.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's all we need. Here we can see this header and all. So this is just an simple index.html file, and right now our Nginx is also running. So how to access this on the browser? Okay, so first we will try to access this on the same server. Okay, same server. How to access this? So there is a command called curl command, and we can just cross verify whether this server is running or not, and on what port number it is running. What port number it is running? 80, right? Because it's a web server, so web application, it is running on port number 80. And what would be the URL then? So first it is running on HTTP, because there is no certificates, so it is not running on any HTTPS and HTTP are two protocols we use. That HTTP is called hypertext transfer protocol, and another one is HTTPS, hypertext transfer protocol, secure hypertext transfer protocol, which we use for the web applications. And on what port number it is running? 80 port number. And where it is running? On server address. So either you can use IP address here, or either you can use just local host, because it is running in the local host. And just type 80 here, and you will see the response here. So this is the same response we are getting after getting this URL. Okay, so this is the URL. I'm just checking it with the curl command. You can even check on the browser as well. So to check on the browser, there is a external IP address. You need to take that IP. So copy this IP and go to the slide and open this in the new slide and paste that IP address and the colon, because you have to use the port number as well. And this is running on a port 80 number. So you can just paste that port colon and 80, and after that you enter it. So you can see this, the message, welcome to CentOS, the community enterprise operating system. And this was the message from there. And from here, it is coming from the server. So if I tell you the path, right? We use the path, one path, right? What was the path? CD, let me go that path. And here is the file called index.html. So in the index.html, same everything is there, right? CentOS has enormous and advantages. First, it will show you the header, welcome to CentOS, and then it will show you the another header, and then it will show you the paragraph. One paragraph, two, three paragraphs are there. The same output we are getting on the browser. What we can do, let's say we don't use this default index.html. We want to change it. So let's delete this. I'll just delete this file. How to delete? rm-rf and the file name. So I'll just delete. I just deleted it. Now this file is not exist here on the same location. And now if I try to access it on the browser, what would happen? Let's see. So if I refresh it, okay, see this 403 forbidden. There is no file actually. That's why you are getting forbidden. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna create one file. So how to create a file? So simple cat command you can use, and redirection sign greater than sign, and file name, whatever the file name you want to keep it. So index.html I'm gonna keep it, and I'm just gonna paste it. Simple, same header, this one h1, and here I'm gonna paste it. But instead of welcome to CentOS, I'm gonna use something different. But let me first enter one more, and h2 I'm gonna use. Let's control C. Now we can see the content of index.html. Yeah. So right now I have just one header, that is welcome to CentOS. Okay. So right now it should show welcome to CentOS right now. If I refresh it again, so we should get it welcome to CentOS. So whatever update you will do there, it will show you in the browser. That's called web application, and it runs on this web application page.
Yes,
Got
sir.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can modify anything here, but let's see what are the ways to modify a file. So if you don't know, let me tell you one very useful tool which we mostly use in the Linux environment, that is called vi editor. Vi editor, that is called vim or vi editor. Have you heard about this earlier?
No, sir.
No. Okay. That's totally fine. So vi is a editor, like in Linux, oh sorry, in Windows or in Mac. What editor you have? Notepad, right? So Notepad is like a editor, or VS Code. Have you ever used VS Code?
Oh, yes, sir. VS Code I
Yes.
use.
Yeah. So it's like a editor for you. You can edit the code and everything, right? So
Yeah.
similarly, in Linux environment on the CLI, you don't have the access to the VS Code directly. So what you do, you have an editor that is called VI editor, and VI and Vim. These are the two editors. VI is the older version of the Vim. So Vim is the newer version, and VI is the older version. So it's a I will recommended you already. I will recommended you always use Vim instead of VI. Okay, and VIM will basically show you few advanced features and all. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna use VIM editor, and VIM, it's already there actually. And if it is not there, we can install it. But let me open this index file. I'm gonna write vim index.html, means I'm gonna open this HTML file with this vim editor and open it. So it will open in this editor. So right now, in vi editor we have three modes. One is escape mode, second is insert mode, okay, insert mode, escape mode, and third is quit mode. Quit in, it means you want to close it, close mode or quit mode. So right now, whenever you open it, it will be in the escape mode. Okay, so in escape mode you can't actually edit anything. So if you want to edit anything, if you want to insert anything, if you want to write anything, you have to press I, simple I. So once you will press I, it will show you insert mode. Right now you can see this is in the insert mode right now. So it
Mm.
means you can make changes to this file. So I'm gonna change it something here. So welcome to welcome to welcome to the welcome to the welcome to the DevOps world. So I'm gonna change something. The first line I have written here. Second line, enter it and take a space here. I'm gonna write it simply h2 and learning. So write learning, cloud and DevOps tech, like that, and just close this h2, right? Simply, right? So just right now we have I'm not gonna write anything. So I have done with the editing. So right now you are insert mode, but you can't actually go outside in an insert mode. First you need to come again in the escape mode. So press escape here again. So once you will press escape, insert will uh you know it will disappear from here. Okay, you won't see this insert here to be showing here. So once you will press escape, after that you want to save this, right? So to save this file, you need to write colon, right? Colon. In the below you can see colon w q and exclamation sign. What we will write? Colon w q exclamation sign. These are the things you need to write here. And if you don't want to save, let's say you don't want to save it, so you need to just write, you can remove w, you can write colon q and exclamation mark. So right now I want to save it, so I'm gonna save it. Now if you want to see the content of this file, you can just use cat command and index.html. So you will see this two lines here right now, and I have two lines. Let me see these two lines on the browser as well. So if I just refresh from here, so it should update it. Yeah, you can see welcome to the DevOps world, learning cloud and DevOps tech. Got it?
Yeah.
Any doubt or in the VI editor? You want to ask me anything in the VI related to the VI editor? If you don't get anything,
No, sir. I understood. I understood, sir. Sir, but what about Nginx? Sir? Means why is it used? Sir? Means what is the purpose of Nginx?
yes, I told you, right? So it's a web server, web application. Let's say
Yes.
I want to create my own application, and
Yeah.
if I'm creating my own application, I have to host that application on the browser. So if it is a web application, I can use this Nginx to host that web application on the browser. So right now, you can consider this application as a web application. I can create some forms, right? Normal forms, HTML forms. So let's say you are having you are the part of any university or colleges. For that, the university has created some forms for the student to filling those registration forms. So I can create those HTML files and CSS files to form those, to create those forms and everything on the browser. And I can use Nginx to host those web pages to the browser. So it's like a web application, web hosting application, and it's also work as a reverse proxy. So it means reverse proxy means this is an advanced concept, but let me tell you just for your information. If you don't get it, that's fine. We will see this in future as well, in the comment sessions as well. But reverse proxy means, let's say, so you are the user and I'm the receiver. So you send something and I will revert back to you with some result. Okay, that is called reverse proxy. So it means the server will revert back to you. So right now, whatever I will, I want to get it, I can ping that server and I can get the result as well. Okay, so this is work as a reverse proxy as well. But right now, you just forget about reverse proxy. You just remember, like, this is a web application which can be used to host the web application pages on the browser.
Okay.
Mm.
Means the main purpose is like for now it is like hosting the application on website.
Yeah, web applications only. Mm.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Even if you want to scroll much about the Nginx, so right, just Nginx has also this simple, documentation as well. So
Okay.
once you will click on this, right, so it will tell you Nginx is an HTTP and reverse proxy server. These are the two things. HTTP we have understood. Reverse proxy I told you. So reverse proxy, what is reverse proxy? You will also get it later in more detail. So it's also called mail proxy server, generic TCP UDP proxy server. So it works like as a most of the things. But right now we are just using it as a web application, web server application. So see this, what we are using here, we are using for this use case, serving
Yes.
static and index files, serving static and index file, and auto indexing open descriptor caches files. So we are using for this purpose right now, but it can be used for these all use cases are there. Okay, so these are the other use cases, features we can tell it, and there are actually more. So let me come out. Fine. So basically, why we are using to serving the static pages or static website, you can use that right
Okay, sir.
now. Okay, so VI editor, you understood like why we use VI editor. VI editor is like a editor. We use Notepad, right? So there are few commands. Just remember those commands. What are the commands are? So first you need to open with VM and VIM, and then file name index.html file, let's say. And once you will open it, it will come to the escape mode. Yeah, if you want to write something, if you want to delete something, you have to come into the insert mode. Press I, and after that, if you don't want, if you make changes something, let's say I made this change. Okay, I removed this line, second line. Okay, and then you can't actually go out from here in this terminal. You have to come first in escape mode. So press escape key. Once you will press the escape key, then we have two options: either you want to save it or not want to save it. So let's say this time I don't want to save it, right? I removed one line, but I don't want to save it right now. So what I can do, I can just write colon q and exclamation. I'm not using colon wq, I'm using colon q, and just come out and see the content. I removed it, but I didn't save that changes, right? So I should get two lines, header one, header two. So you can see header one and header two are there. Okay, because I
Okay.
didn't save that file. That's the reason. Hmm?
Yes.
You can write somewhere like how this VS Code works. It is very important coming to the Linux, where you will mostly see this environments. Then what we're gonna discuss now? Okay. Uh, okay. So as I said, this is running on port 80 number, right? And you are also able to access this. So I want to show you basically how to actually how to see the port number, like whether this is running or not. So to check the port number, I told you yesterday, there is a one command called net state. Okay, network status. What is the network status? And there is a options. How you can use help command also. So with the help command, it will show you all options here. So first I want to use this option, T option. T is basically, we have two type of protocols, that is called TCP and UDP. So this Nginx basically uses TCP protocol for port number 80. So I gonna filter it. So net state is the command, net state, and I can use hyphen T, first option T, second option is n. So n is just for numeric digits. Okay, so don't resolve the name, it will just tell you the name of the network port numbers, right? And next option I'm gonna use here is let's say interfaces also. So you can use listening. So we want to see how much, like what are the ports are now listening to the server socket. So for that we can use TNL. L I'm using, and what you want to check, port, right? So there is a one option called programs, P option you can use to check the PID, process ID for that. So TNLP basically we use that. So once I'll do that, you will see that one port number 80 is running and it is listening by the Nginx server. See this one. Don't see this one, but just at least see this one. So don't see this TCP6. Just forget about TCP6. Just focus here on TCP, right? TCP only. And this is the local address for this TCP, port number 80. and this is the foreign address. Foreign address means outside how the persons can access this. Okay, and it is now listening. Okay, and this is the process ID for this. Okay, this is the URL, right? This is the URL. This is the port number 80. If I stop the service, let's say system, how to stop system CTL stop Nginx, system CTL stop Nginx. I stop the service. Now the service is not running. You can check the status as well. So status, if I see the status, it is not running right now. You can see it is in inactive mode, inactive and dead. So if I see the again net state TNLP for port number 80, do you see somewhere 80 here?
Yes, sir.
So here is there is no TC, there is no port number 80 because I stopped the services. That's why you don't see here. Okay. So earlier it was there. You can see this is the list. This was there earlier, but when I stop the services, you won't see this port number 80. It means your port number 80 is not listening. Your service is not running. That's why. So once you will start the service here, start the service, and see the again net state. So you will again see this coming to this, right? So this is how you can check the port number. So most of the time, someone if ask you, can you check whether this port number is running on in your network or not? So you can troubleshoot this kind of issues with this help of this command.
Okay. So if we stop the port number, the website will not work, no, sir.
Yes, correct. So once you will stop the services, this port number will not, this application will not work. Actually, it will not listen. So right now, if you see this, I'm getting the responses from this service, Like if I refresh it again, so it is now listening it. That's why it is showing me. Okay, but if I stop it again, let me stop. I stopped it, and now I'll try to access it right now. It is in cache, so just refresh it 2, 3, 4 times. Now it is showing me the site can't be reached because your server is not running. That's the reason. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So your service should be running. So if it is not running, you start it, and it will be running. And then you can see the port number as well. So I started service again, and again check the status. It will come again.
Yes.
Okay. So this is one thing, and another thing is in networking, in the Linux networking. So there are a few more commands which we actually use to see whether this uh, okay. I think this three four commands are very useful. It is we use this type of commands in day-to-day use cases, but there are some advanced commands are there. But I don't want to cover those right now because it will be very advanced for you as well. So what I'll suggest you right now, you just go through those simple one which I have discussed today, and do some hands-on to your system. And if you have any doubts and all, you can come to me and you can show me those doubts and all. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let me come out from here and let me clear the screen. Networking we have done, and installation also you saw that. Okay, so let's say you want to uninstall something, right? So how to uninstall? Let's say we install the Nginx. Now I want to uninstall it. So you can use yum remove Nginx. Yum remove Nginx. So once you will remove it, it will be removed from that. So now if you check the services, start stop status. If I check, the service is not found. Why? I have removed this package. That's the reason it is not pounding. Okay, so you can use this command to remove the packages also.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so there are two more important commands are there, that is called SSH and SCP. So let's say I have 100 servers. Okay, and from this is my one server, and another 99 servers on the same network. So how to SSH? How to SSH to the servers? Okay, so for that I have to show you one thing here. First, let me create one instance. I'm gonna create another instance, and just type it instance 2, and I'll just use the same US central one. So same replicate instance I'm gonna create here with the CentOS, and this one we don't need to change anything here. We can just change the image name, and we have to allow HTTPS. Now let's create it. So I'm creating another instance. Okay, I've created it. Now my task is, or what I want here. So right now I have two systems, right? What I have two systems. So from one system to another system, how can I connect? One system, this is my system, and I have another system. Let's understand this way. So what I have one system here. Okay, so one system, that is C1, and another system is here, C2, right? I want to connect from this system to this system without login to this, without login to this externally. From here only, from this system only, I want to connect to this one. So for that, we have called secure shell. Secure shell means SSH. So SSH is the command line we can use to SSH, and SSH we have to write where you want to SSH. Let's say we want to SSH to the root. Okay, root username and at the rate, and what is the IP address where you want to SSH. Let's say this is my IP for the server. I want to SSH to this server. Okay, so what I can do here, I can try to SSH. Okay, it will ask you something, authentication and all, can't be established or something. It will ask you. Just you try to write yes here, and it will show you permission denied and all everything. Okay, so why it is showing permission denied? Because you don't have permission to copy something to this another host. So that's the reason you are actually not on the authenticated. Let's say don't just get it in a different way. Um, let's say you are sitting somewhere in USA. I'm sitting in the India. Okay. Now I want to I want to get access to your system. So how can I connect with your system directly? So this is the command SSH, and this is the name of the user, and this would be your IP address. But I should have something authentication or something, authorization and authentication. So for that reason, we have two ways. Either we can use username and password, or we can use keys. Okay. So there are in Linux, actually there are two types of keys. One is public key, second is private key. Understand, this is very important, and this is really important for the security as well. Okay, so we have two types of keys called private key and public keys. By default, in the Google Cloud, you actually can't use passwords because passwords are disabled by default. So you can't, even you set the password, you can't use that password as well. So instead of using password, it's recommended to use the keys. Firstly, you need to generate the keys. And how to generate the keys? So there is a command ssh key chain. Ssh key chain. This is the command. And what type of algorithm you want to use to generate the keys? If you're not sure, you can just write it RSA-T, and there is a called RSA. It's like an algorithm which this command uses to generate your keys. And size also you can mention. Let's say I want to use the size 4096, or what type of size you want to. Right. I think this is not required. Let's say I want to see the help here. So you can see here, first I can use -t. This is an algorithm, whatever you want to use. So DSA, ECDSA, and EDDSA. These are the RSA. So we are using RSA. It's like an algorithm which this key uses. This command uses to generate your keys. Okay, and another thing is I want to. There is a one option. Let me tell you. RSA size. Okay, size means there will be one phrase. Let me show you that. Just a minute. Passphrase, comment, key file name, host name, host name, output files, memory, key, hyphen capital K. Okay, yeah. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna use hyphen T RSA. Okay, and after that capital K and 4096. So right now it is working. Now it is asking where you want to generate this key. So I want to generate this key. By default, it will be saved to this path. This is the path /root. Under this, we have folder called .ssh and the name of the file that is called id_rsa. If you want to change, you can change it, but I don't want to change it, so I will enter it. Now it is asking for the passphrase is like a password. If you forget this key, if you want to have the password for this key, you can write the passphrase here. If you don't want, just enter it. Okay, and I don't want the passphrase. It will use automatically the passphrases. Now we have generated the keys. So this key is generated in this format, and where it is being stored. So the path is /ssh cd.ssh. Let me ssh to this, and there is a folder called this one. So right now we have this id_rsa. This is called private key, this is called public key. Okay, so these are the two keys are there. Now if you remember, I created another instance. I created this for my server, for my one server. And what I can do here, because I want to connect from one system to another system. So what I have to do, I have to paste these keys in the another server, so I can SSH. So first, let me always use public keys. Don't use private keys. Remember this thing. Okay. So I am gonna copy this key, that is public key, and initially, at least for first time, you have to SSH to this instance. another instance which I've created, right? In that I'm logging in. So here also you see this, right? Transferring SSH key. So from Google to this server, Google basically create a key automatically and it uses the key only to SSH in the backend, right? So first let me do one thing. Let me come to the sudo from the system and now go to the SSH. So there is no SSH. Let me exit. Let's say I want to SSH to this user only, this technodad. Okay. So in this we have one dot SSH, and once I'll go there, I have this authorized key. Let me open this with the Vim, and once I'll open, you can see there are already multiple keys are already added by the Google, but we don't want to. We don't want to do anything here with this already existed keys. We just want to change those keys. So we want to add our own key. So for that, I need to come in the insert mode and enter here and enter more and just paste that key, whatever you copied from that system. So I'll just paste it. Okay. And you should see this username here. Okay. So I just pasted it and let me save this file. Okay. I've just saved this file. Okay. Now, let me come out and let me get the username. Who am I? So this is my username. Now what I'll do, see this. There is a one thing what I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna SSH to the system. So SSH, where I want to SSH, this is the user, and what is the IP for the server. So I can get this IP from here. Let's say I can use this external or internal IP, anything, that's fine, because both are in the same network. So I'll use this one and enter. So it is asking, you want to connect with the server, and it is done. So right now from server 1, I have connected to this instance automatically. You can see this. Now if I check who am I, this is my user, and what is the host name? You can see this is the instance 2 right now. If I close this another instance, you can see that this instance I'm closing it. And let me exit from here once again if you are having doubt anything. Right now you can see who am I. I'm in the root and username check host name. So who's the host name? CentOS VM. I want to connect to the another instance from here itself. So use SSH username at the rate and IP address. Okay. Now see this login. So I can now log into the system, one system to another system. Similarly, you can make this connection with the thousands of servers. You can create a key. You can copy that key in the thousands of server automatically. So this is very useful. Once we will understand Ansible, right? We have a topic Ansible. So Ansible works around multiple servers, and that time also you will see the same concept. So it's better to understand here itself how to create the keys, how to copy the keys, and how to SSH from one system to the another systems. Now even you can do one thing. Let me exit the connection from that system. Right now I'm in the main system. I'm in the my own system. Now you can also copy the files to one system to another system. You actually can't copy, I mean you can send the files. So for that actually we use SCP, secure copy, secure copy. And for that I can show you this one help command. So secure copy means SCP. Let's say I want to copy some files, and let me use one file that is called file1.txt. Okay, I want to copy this file. Where I want to copy, let me take this server name here. This is really interesting actually. So let me copy this, not this one. What was the name of the server? Username. So I have to uh, get the username, so I can just take it from here as well. This is my username, and at the rate. Okay, just do one thing. Let me exit once. And who am I? This is the same user, and the sudo su hyphen. Now I have logged in the sudo. I have not logged in the different system. I'm in the sudo. Now what I'm gonna do here, I have one file here that is called file1, which I'm gonna use to send to the another system. So I'm gonna use scp command, scp file name, and on what on what location you want to send it. So for that, actually I gonna use the username for the another server. So this is my username and the IP. So let's get the IP for the instance 2 server. So for this, I have this IP. Let me copy this IP here. Copy instance 2. I'm copying it. Okay. And what path actually? So you can just keep it in home slash and then username. So user, like, on what path actually you want to copy. You can use any path. Let me use temp slash temp slash temp. I want to copy this file to this another server, which on what path slash temp. Let me do that. So you can see copy is successful, send is successful, and so 100% done. And 55 is a KB size and all. So how you can verify whether this file exists on this path on the same different server? So for that, actually, you can log into the server. You can log in from here or from here itself. You can log in. Okay. So let me show you from here. Okay. Otherwise, you will get confused. So I'm logging it from here directly from the UI.
Sir, so the first thing we did is like we created a key pair and we accessed the other virtual machine from the server, no sir?
First, you need to create a key pair on the. So I created one key pair on the CentOS VM.
Yes, sir.
So it will
So
create. See,
using
let me tell you
uh,
the steps. So first, you need to create a key pair for the CentOS VM. It will
okay,
create two keys: public key and private key. So public key you need to use to copy that public key in the instance 2 one time process. So once you will copy that key on the instance 2, after that what you will be able to do, you don't need to SSH from here. You can just directly go to this CentOS VM, log into this VM, and you can manage this instance 2 from the same from the CentOS VM only. Okay, how? You have to do SSH, username, @ and IP address. That's all. And then you can copy the commands. Now tell me what is your question?
no sir. Means first it is you. First we learned how to access the other instance, and now it is about sharing
Copying the data.
files, no sir.
Copying or sending the data.
Okay.
Okay. So let me verify that whether this file exists or not in the different server, which we copied from the CentOS VM. We copied from CentOS VM to instance 2 VM. And what was the path? CD slash temp. We copied this temp path. Okay. Now let me do ls. And here should be one file, file1.txt, which we copied. You can see this file. We copied it and it exists. So similarly, you can copy multiple files. Let me copy one more file here. The same command, I'm gonna use it, and this time I'm gonna send it a directory. So for the directory, actually, you need to use R option recursively, and the data is the name of the directory. So I'll just see this, and file1, file2, file3, all will be sent to this path. And now I verify it from here, and if I do ls again, you can see this data is came now. And if I do ls -l for this data, you will see all these files. Directory one, if directory one will be there, you can see cd dir1. So cd dir1, cd dir1, and ls, and file 1 is there, then file 2 will be there in the directory 1, directory 2, and file 3 will be there. So all file will be transferred. You can see these all. Okay, so it means you can copy the data, you can send the data directly from one server to another server, and this is the way. It is not in the same server, we are in the different server, we are sending it like I don't know if you ever used in Windows or not, how we actually send the data. But if you have not ever used, I think you must have used the mobile phones. So Android or iOS, whatever system you have, so you can send the data from one iOS to another iOS, right? There are multiple softwares are there. Similarly, in Linux environment, how do you copy the files and data? So this is the way.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Got it? Okay.
Mm.
Okay. All right. I think we are up to time today. So today, actually, I covered few important topics, and these are really important. Let me tell you. You will definitely get this useful. Once you will come to this, this real-time environment experience. So this is very, very, very useful. I tell you. We mostly use in the use cases, real-time use cases. So just remember, just see this, whatever we have used today. Let me copy the files also, commands also. So just go through